What if a small copper coin could quietly hold a story that feels far bigger than its face value? A story that most people pass by without even noticing. Yet a few collectors pause and look twice as if they are seeing something hidden beneath the surface. Something that does not immediately reveal itself, but slowly builds curiosity in the mind, making you wonder why this simple piece of metal keeps drawing attention again and again, why it feels different from countless other coins, and what exactly makes it stand out in a world full of ordinary currency. Because this 1956 1-cent coin may appear common at first glance, but the deeper you look, the more questions begin to form, and those questions keep building one after another, pulling you further into the story, making you feel that something important is about to be revealed if you just keep watching and paying attention until the very end. At first sight, this coin shows the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design that millions of people have seen countless times in daily life. Yet something about the texture, the shine, and the tiny details creates a feeling that this specific piece carries something slightly different, almost as if time itself has left behind subtle marks that tell a quiet and hidden story. And as your eyes slowly move across the surface, you begin to notice how even the smallest imperfections can change the way a collector views it. Because in the world of coin collecting, it is never just about what is visible at a quick glance. It is about what slowly reveals itself when you give it more attention and allow your curiosity to grow. The year 1956 places this coin in an interesting period of history, a time when the United States was experiencing growth, change, and a steady rhythm of everyday transactions, and coins like this were part of normal life, moving from one hand to another without anyone thinking twice about them. Yet today, that same ordinary movement has transformed into something collectors analyze carefully, because every coin from that era carries traces of its journey, and those traces can quietly increase curiosity about where it has been, who might have used it, and what moments it may have witnessed over the years, making it feel more meaningful than its simple appearance suggests. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat ears design, a symbol that remained on pennies for decades before eventually being replaced. And this design alone holds a strong connection to history, making collectors pay close attention to the sharpness of the wheat lines, the clarity of the lettering, and the overall balance of the surface. Because even slight differences in these elements can make one coin feel more appealing than another. And that subtle difference is where curiosity begins to grow stronger, pushing collectors to look closer and compare details they might have ignored at first. Condition plays a powerful role in how this coin is viewed, because a well-preserved surface with minimal wear can instantly create a stronger impression compared to a heavily circulated piece. And when collectors examine a coin like this, they focus on details such as luster, edge definition, and the smoothness of the fields, all of which combine to create a certain visual impact that cannot be ignored. And this is where an ordinary coin slowly begins to feel less ordinary, as each detail adds to its overall presence and makes it stand out in a subtle but noticeable way. As you continue observing, questions naturally start forming about how many of these coins still exist in such condition, how many have survived without significant damage, and how many might still be hidden away in collections, drawers, or forgotten boxes. Because rarity is not always about how many were originally made, but about how many remain in a state that captures attention today. And this idea alone keeps collectors searching, comparing, and wondering if there might be more waiting to be discovered somewhere unexpected. There are also small variations that experts sometimes look for, including mint marks, strike quality, and alignment. And while these details may seem minor to someone unfamiliar with coins, they can significantly influence how a coin is perceived, because each variation adds another layer to the story, making the coin feel unique in its own way. And that uniqueness is what keeps interest alive over time, encouraging collectors to keep exploring and learning more about what makes each piece different. What makes this even more interesting is how perception changes when a coin is carefully graded and evaluated, because professional grading can highlight qualities that are not immediately obvious, turning a simple observation into a deeper understanding. And once that understanding begins to grow, the coin starts to carry a different kind of presence, one that goes beyond its original purpose as everyday currency and becomes something worth studying and appreciating in greater detail. Collectors often find themselves comparing similar coins side by side, trying to identify subtle differences that might not be noticeable at first glance. And this process itself becomes a journey of discovery, where each detail adds a new question, and each question leads to another layer of curiosity, making the experience far more engaging than it initially appears. Because the more you look, the more you realize that there is always something new to notice. In rare discussions within the collecting community, stories sometimes emerge about exceptional examples of coins reaching remarkably high figures in private sales or auctions. And while such cases are not common and depend on very specific conditions, mentions of values like $1,823,000 occasionally appear as part of these conversations, adding another layer of intrigue that makes people look at even ordinary coins with a sense of possibility rather than certainty, creating a feeling that something extraordinary might exist where you least expect it. This sense of possibility is what keeps collectors engaged for long periods of time, because the idea that something small and overlooked could carry unexpected significance creates a continuous sense of anticipation, and that anticipation grows stronger with every detail you notice, making it difficult to simply look away and move on without thinking further about what might be hidden within the coin. Another layer of curiosity comes from imagining the journey this coin may have taken over the decades, passing through different hands, different places, and different moments in time, each exchange adding an invisible chapter to its story. And while those moments are not recorded, they still contribute to the overall feeling that this coin carries more than just its physical form, creating a deeper connection between the object and the observer. As you reflect on this coin, it becomes clear that its true appeal does not come from a single feature, but from the combination of history, condition, detail, and the questions it raises, all working together to create a quiet but powerful sense of curiosity. And that curiosity is what transforms a simple viewing into a deeper and more meaningful experience that stays in your mind even after you stop looking at it. In the end, this 1956 1-cent coin stands as a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hold layers of interest that only reveal themselves when you take the time to look closer. And as you reach this point, one final question remains in your mind. How many other coins might be waiting to tell a similar story? And what might you discover the next time you decide to look just a little more carefully than before? Because sometimes the smallest details lead to the biggest questions and the most interesting discoveries.